During the Shang dynasty, DAJI, a fox demon, came to the mortal world in human form. Later, she became a concubine in the palace and used her beauty to confuse King Zhao to disrupt the imperial court. King Zhao was obsessed with beauty, ignored the government, and spent his days tyrannizing. In 1046 BC, King Wu of Zhao Ji-fa launched the Battle of Muye. At this time, King Zhao had lost the hearts and minds of the population and eventually has to burn himself at Lutai. Time came many years ago. At that time, Su-DAJI was called Su-Nuo, and the list of the gods has come out. The demons begin to kill each other and intend to enhance the magic power to ascend to the list of gods. One day, Shingong Bao takes a fancy to the red fox Sanjiu, who possesses 1,000 years of magic power. They try to kill each other and take the opponent's power for himself. The two immediately launch a big battle in the sky and fight from heaven to the ground, all the way to the territory of the Suji clan. Sanjiu knows that he is no match for Shingong Bao, so he seeks an opportunity to escape and possesses the body of the tribal leader's wife. At this time, the tribal leader's wife is giving birth, but the process does not go well. Fortunately, the child was born finally, and she is Su-Nuo. Su-Nuo is a stillborn baby at birth, and her mother died in childbirth. In order to save his wife and children, the tribal leader has to beg for the magic stone, a colorful stone that fell when Nuo was mending the sky. It is the only way to save both of the mother and daughter. Gradually, the magic stone begins to work. Su-Nuo miraculously comes to life, but the multicolored stone only saves Su-Nuo. After seeing Su-Nuo, the elder finds that the yang energy in her body is excessive, and the yin and yang energy are out of balance, and predicts that she will bring disaster to the clan in the future. So Su-Nuo, who has survived with difficulty, grows up with such a prophecy. Because of her mother's death, people in the clan believe that Su-Nuo is bad luck, which led to her mother's death. However, the battle between Shingong Bao and Senju hasn't finished. Because of Su-Nuo, Shingong Bao could only be defeated and flee the battlefield every time. It turns out that the reason why Su-Nuo is able to be born smoothly and is saved by the multicolored stone is because of the help of Senju. Over the years, Senju has accompanies with Su-Nuo. The two are fellow-like. However, as the time goes by, the magic power of the multicolored stone has become thinner and thinner. If the Suyi clan loses the protection of the multicolored stone, the Suyi people will become precarious. For the sake of the clan, Su-Nuo's father decides to let Su-Nuo's sister marry within the Lin clan. When the two clans discussed the wedding ceremony, the Lin people heard that Su-Nuo was bad lucky, so they proposed to refuse Su-Nuo to participate in the big wedding ceremony. Su-Nuo happens to hear that, so she decides to use a day of distraction. She asks Senju to protect the Suyu clan and her sister. While she leads the horse to drink water by the river, a man suddenly falls from the sky by the river. This man is the prince of the dynasty, Zixin, but he is unconscious with injuries all over his body. Su-Nuo doesn't want to let him die. She takes him to the ancestral hall where the multicolored stone is enshrined and tries to use the multicolored stone to save Zixin. At this moment, a miraculous thing happens. The multicolored stone floats to the top of Zixin and rescues him. The next day, Zixin wakes up. It turns out that he encounters the assassin on his way out. During the fight with the assassin, he accidentally falls off the cliff and is saved by Su-Nuo. Only the Suyi people can find the exit because they are so mysterious. So Su-Nuo goes the extra mile and escorts Zixin away from the Suyi clan to return to Zhao. At the same time, Shingong Bao comes to mansion house of Ziqi, who is Zixin's brother. It turns out that Ziqi asked the assassins to kill Zixin, which is proposed by Shingong Bao. When Shingong Bao and Senju mistakenly enters the Suyi clan, they accidentally discover the boundary of Suyi clan. In recent years, the magic power of the multicolored stone has gradually weakened, and the boundary of the Suyi clan has also begun to loosen. Shingong Bao thinks it is a good opportunity to attack the Suyi people and take away the multicolored stone. At the same time, Sunuo is accompanying with Zixin to the exit, and the two gradually become familiar with each other. Not long after, they arrive at the exit. There are cliffs everywhere, and if they want to know the exact location, they have to wait until the next day. The two sat in a cave, chatting and waiting for the dawn. Until the shadow of the night, the hearts of the two get closer and closer. Zixin also tells Sunuo that he doesn't care about the vermilion mark on Sunuo's face. On the contrary, he thinks the mark is beautiful, and at this time, Sunuo still does not know that the assassin sent by Zikui has sneaked into the Suyi clan and killed her families. Today, it's her sister's wedding day. Under the leadership of Shingongbao, the Suyi people are quickly killed. Sanjiu is injured by Shingongbao and could not continue to protect Suyi people, and Sunuo's father and sister are both killed by assassins. The multicolored stone is successfully taken away by Shingongbao. At this time, Sunuo, who is unaware, is still immersed in the sweetness of love. Zixin couldn't help to express his affection to Sunuo. The next day, it is time for Zixin to leave, and neither of them are willing to separate. Zixin promises that he would come back to marry Sunuo and give Sunuo his personal saber as a love pledge. Sunuo, who has just separated from his lover, returns to home seeing corpses everywhere, as well as his father and sister who are brutally murdered. And Sanjiu is also seriously injured by Shingongbao, and his life is in danger. Overnight, she becomes homeless. At this time, Zixin, who has just returned to Shaoxi, receives news that his father is seriously ill. Before death, the king of Shang passes the throne to Zixin and asks him to marry Liang Hanchu's daughter, and then he breathes his last. Moreover, according to the law, Zixin must mourn for his father. He has to temporarily put aside his commitment to Sunuo and stay in Shaoxi. He paints a portrait of Sunuo and hangs it in the room, looking at the portrait and missing Sunuo all day long. And all this is seen by Ziki, who thinks that this might be a good opportunity. So he deliberately deceives Zixin's trust, claiming that he would help Zixin find Sunuo. After suffering the pain of extermination, Sunuo leaves her hometown and goes to Shaoxi to find Zixin. She never leaves her hometown before and doesn't know the dangers outside. Otherwise, she doesn't have the ability to be self-reliant. Sunuo goes around asking if anyone knows the owner of the saber. Zixin doesn't tell Sunuo his true identity, so Sunuo inquires a lot, but there is no whereabouts of Zixin. But perhaps it is the divine will that Sunuo meets Jifa. He thinks that Sunuo is pitiful and knows that Sunuo is looking for someone, so he takes her back to the mansion to settle down. Unexpectedly, Sunuo meets Shingongbao here. She feels a wave of wild fury overcame her. Sunuo looks at her enemy and draws out the saber to kill Shingongbao, which is stopped by Jifa. Jifa claims that Shingongbao is his old friend. Even if Sunuo really wants to kill Shingongbao, she should give Jifa a chance to figure the things out. Afterwards, Jifa actually appears in Ziki's mansion. It turns out that Jifa has secretly allied with Ziki to try to kill Zixin. Ziki thinks that perhaps Sunuo is the best person who can help him kill Zixin. But then Shingongbao raises a new question. How can they gain Sunuo's trust? Ziki doesn't say a word, just waves the sword in his hand. Then he cuts off Shingongbao head. Shingongbao, who has done many evil deeds, is killed by his lord. In the evening, Jifa takes Shingongbao head to see Sunuo. He tells Sunuo that Shingongbao gets the order from the current king of Shang dynasty to kill the Suyi people. Jifa also tells Sunuo that the saber which Ziki gives her is only available to generals who have done war services. Generals and kings like to wear this saber. Under the hint of Jifa, Sunuo guesses that Zixin is not an ordinary person. Afterwards, Jifa told Sunuo that the king of Shang dynasty has coveted the multicolored stone for a long time, but there is no suitable reason to attack her clan. So later, they set up a trap to break into the Suyi clan in the name of finding the prince and exterminate the Suyi people. At this time, Sunuo remembers the knife stuck on her sister's chest, which is exactly the similar one Zixin gives her. Sunuo sits on the bed and couldn't fall into sleep. She constantly recalls the happy moments with Zixin, and the hatred in her heart is getting stronger and stronger. The next day, Sunuo put on a suit of armor, and her eyes become determined and angry. She asks Jaffa to train her to improve her martial skills. In the future, she will find Zixin to revenge, which is just what Jaffa hopes for. In this way, Sunuo steps into the trap of Ziki and Jaffa. That night, every household hangs red lanterns to celebrate Zixin's wedding day. After knowing that, Sunuo is stunned and feels heartbroken. Sunuo, who is full of hatred, sneaks into the palace at night to kill Zixin while she is almost discovered by the guards. Fortunately, Jaffa takes her away in time instead of being exposed. Sunuo has to endure for a while, waiting to take revenge on Zixin again on the day of the enthronement ceremony. During these days, Jaffa feels in love with Sunuo as well. He doesn't want Sunuo to take revenge. Revenge is so dangerous. But Sunuo has made up her mind. Although she hates Zixin, she still wants to ask for an explanation. Finally, on the day of the enthronement ceremony, Sunuo dresses up as a dancer to perform in palace. Zixin never imagines that he would see his lover he has yearned day and night. He doesn't even expect that his lover wants to kill him. Zixin knows that he does not live up on his promise and is willing to die for her. But genocide has nothing to do with him. There must be a misunderstanding, so he takes Sunuo away and plans to explain to her. At this moment, Ziki no longer hides his ambition. He leads his armies to surround Zixin and Sunuo, intending to catch them all. Until now, assassination, genocide, revenge, all the truth finally come out. Zixin doesn't want to hurt the innocent, so he offers to fight with Ziki one-on-one. With the help of multicolored stone, Zixin is no match for Ziki. Sunuo comes to help, but in vain. At the critical moment, Jaffa saves Sunuo. Afterwards, Sunuo and Zixin join forces to attack Ziki, but they fail. At this moment, Sanjiu, who has recovered from the former injury, appears. He turns into a fox to try to kill Ziki, but fails. Ziki is going to kill Zixin by sword. Sunuo immediately rushes to Zixin and is stabbed by the sword. She has the power of the multicolored stone. The sword is embedded in her body. Gradually, the power of the multicolored stone begins to dissipate. Eventually, the sword breaks, and Ziki, who has done many evil actions, is also sucked into the multicolored stone and receives the punishment he deserves. Sanjiu gets close to Sunuo slowly. He saved Sunuo before. Now, he is the only one who can make Sunuo alive once again. He turns into a fox and takes Sunuo to ask Nuwa for help. Sanjiu promises that he would do anything for Nuwa as long as she can save Sunuo. Afterwards, Nuwa lets Sanjiu become one with Sunuo, creating a new creature named gods-DAJI. And since Sanjiu took Sunuo away, Zixin has gone completely crazy. He ignores the national affairs all day, and the portraits of Sunuo are hung everywhere in the palace. Zixin is looking for someone who looks similar to Sunuo in the world, but fails. One day, a minister tells Zixin that the Marquis, Suhu, has a beautiful daughter who is gods-DAJI, so gods-DAJI is called into the palace. Zixin looks at gods-DAJI in front of him, as if he has returned to the moment when he first meets Sunuo. The story has just begun from now, and Zixin is called the King Zhao from then on. Zhao means tyrannical in Chinese.